welcome to the Echoes of the African Culture podcast. My name is Daisy Akal, I'm your host.
And I'm Emma Ogola, I'm your host.
Yes, and in today's lineup, we have a lot of performances for you, and something special about today is that I have my mother on set, Mrs. Monica Oma, and she's here to tell us a story that she told me and my siblings when we were babies, and maybe she's going to tell us whatever it meant and maybe its role. And finally, we're going to have a discussion on the role of performing arts in preserving the African culture. So before we begin, Emma will tell us a little bit about the song Miembe.
So Miembe is a song produced and sung by Mayan, the husband, and it's from a documentary of an old nyanya or an old grandma who was 95 years and was being accused of witchcraft and all by the relatives, so that they could possess or take over her wealth and her property. I hope you'll enjoy the song.
Welcome.
This land, more healthy children. Kanisani, matangani ya mama Gweni. Kwenye kiosk, kanisani, matangani ya mama Gweni. Chini ya miembe, chini ya miembe, she said. Kwenye kiosk, kanisani, matangani ya mama Gweni. Kwenye kiosk, kanisani, matangani ya mama Gweni. Chini ya miembe, chini ya miembe, she said. Don't you worry. Hadithi. Hadithi. I want to tell you a story. When I say story, you say story. Come. Story. Once upon a time, there were 3 girls. There were how many girls? 3 girls. They went to the forest to fetch firewood. They were sent by their mother to go and fetch firewood. To fetch what?
Firewood.
Very good. The mother told them when they go there, they should not sit on any chair they find in the forest. There was a chair like this one in the forest, and their mother told them, don't sit on that chair. These 3 girls were Atieno, Adhiambo, and Awuor. So Adhiambo went, walked, went to the forest to fetch firewood. They fetched firewood. Then they came across a chair like this. Adhiambo sat on it. Adhiambo was stuck. She could not move. Adhiambo was
Stuck.
She could not move because it was Hyena's seat. It was whose seat? Hyena's seat. But the mother warned her not to sit on any seat. Okay? So they started singing. I'll sing to you in Dholuo. Okay? So Adhiambo started singing. Nyithindwa weya kenda udhi ukonde mamo bigi nyunda riyo gogo komni kom maka bede tamuokoti kidiki komno dikore kidiki komno dikore. The mother came. After the mother came, the mother found Adhiambo stuck. Adhiambo could not move. Adhiambo tried to stand like this. She could not stand. The mother cried and went back home to bring the uncle. The song was the same. The uncle came, Adhiambo could not stand. The uncle went back. Don't do that. Then the father came. The father has a lot of energy. So the father thought that now I'm going to remove Adhiambo, my daughter, from Hyena's seat. From whose seat? Hyena's seat. The father came. The father came with 2 hammers. He hammered the seat, the chair. He hammered. He pulled Adhiambo. Adhiambo was still stuck. Then Adhiambo was just seeing the father going away. Adhiambo started crying. My father, you are leaving me alone. Baba iwe yakenda. Dikonde jodala wa bigi nyundari ya gogo komni. Koma kabede tamuokoti kidiki komno dikore kidiki komno dikore. The father went home, brought the whole village. They tried. Adhiambo was still stuck. Okay? The whole village. They came, they tried pulling her. Adhiambo could not. Was still stuck. They left. The whole village left. Then Adhiambo was eaten by a hen at night. She died. So the father came back to check whether Adhiambo was still alive. Adhiambo had died. Adhiambo died like that because she was disobedient. So this story teaches us something. But before I tell you what it teaches us, who went to fetch firewood?
Adhiambo, Atieno, and Awuor.
Very good. And who sat on Hyena's seat?
Adhiambo.
Who died?
Adhiambo.
Very good. Now, why do you think Adhiambo died?
Because she was disobedient.
Very good. So the story is teaching us to be obedient to our parents. When your parent tells you, don't do this, don't do it. Are we together in that? Yes. Will you be like Adhiambo?
No.
Will you be like Adhiambo?
No.
Yes. Okay, that is the end of our story.
to the Echoes of the African Culture podcast. I'm your host, Daisy Akal.
And I'm your host, Emma Ogola.
And today we have a guest. She'll introduce herself.
Thank you so much. I'm Monica Uma, a teacher by profession. I teach languages. I'm also Daisy's mother.
Yes. And we are so honored to have you today in studio. Thank you for your contribution, even the contribution that you've made today. Yes, so the topic of discussion today is the role of performing arts in preserving the African culture. And by that, in our last podcast, Emma, we mentioned music, drama, dance as performing arts. Yes, so today we just want to delve a little bit on their role in preserving the African culture. So who will start?
Let me start. Thank you so much. Drama is action. You act what you know. You act what exists in the society, and so it is part and parcel of literature or culture. In that manner, it carries the culture of a people. Culture carries the traditions of a people, the way of life, the way people eat, and even the the other activities, economic activities, among many things. Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe Emma, if you could add a little bit.
Actually, it also dictates on how the people in the past used to dress, and from the dress code, you can identify the culture from which someone comes from. Like for example, you have the Kikuyus. Their attires, traditional attires, are always brown. You find the Giriamas and the Mijikendas, the Swahili. They always love laces, tied laces to signify that or to resemble their culture.
Thank you so much. Let me add something also on culture. It goes with food. The food of the people. What do they eat and why? Where are they staying that makes them even eat that food? Why do they like it? What really makes them feel that when they eat that food, they are okay, they are strong, they are able to stand firm and identify with that particular culture.
And thank you so much for saying that, because there's this drama. I told you all in the first episode that I'm a thespian. So there's this drama that I did while in campus, and it was titled Our Husband is Mad Again. So this is a story, maybe I'll just bring you up to speed. This is a story that talks about an African man who is from the army. He's a soldier, he's a retired soldier, and he's Nigerian. And then he has 3 wives. His first wife was inherited. So even the Nigerians inherit wives. His brother passed, so he had by culture, by tradition, he had to inherit the wife. And then the second wife was he had political ambitions, so he married the second wife because she was the leader of the women's guild at that time. And then the third wife, now he brought her from abroad. They had a relationship from abroad. So you can check the story. So what I was saying was, while we were acting it, because it's a Nigerian story and our lecturer was a Nigerian, there was this time, there were lines where we were struggling to get the lines. So sometimes we could say there was a woman who was called Mama Khadija. So for us as Kenyans, we'd say Mama Khadija. But for them, they would say Mama Khadija. Mama Khadija. So our lecturer used to be like, no, you have to get it right. It's Mama Khadija. So go ahead, Mama Khadija. And in that play, we performed it in Kenya National Theatre. And by the way, Alan came. Alan is my brother. Alan came, and he was in Nairobi, so I invited him and he watched it. And we had all this Nigerian traditional culture. We were so lucky to have our lecturer Nigerian. So he gave us the Nigerian attire and their songs. There was a song that we were singing, and even the accent. So through drama, we learned a lot about the Nigerian culture. Yeah.
Thank you very much for narrating all that to us. You know, with drama, it sharpens critical thinking.
Yeah.
You were not left the same again. At least you learned something and you were able to think critically, and also it sharpens creativity
Yeah.
of a people. So when you are in drama, or generally the theater, you don't just do things for the sake of it. There are themes that you
Yeah.
have to measure
To
on.
follow.
Yes, there are plots that you have to measure on. A play has a plot. A
Yeah.
play has got characters, and these characters are people who exist in the society. As much as they may be fiction, but you have to find somebody who is having the same behavioral way as the one you are talking about,
Yes. Yeah.
reading about, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
drama is carrying a lot of culture in it, and all this goes into the teaching of several moral lessons, especially to the young ones. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe.
About drama, or rather about
Drama or
music,
music.
drama, music,
We continue
either
the conversation.
whatever it is, drama, music, filming, and all that, they still have an impact in our various societies and in our various cultures. You find that, for example, the children who have been narrated with the story, they are not well conversant with their culture or their language. So you find that when they are narrated with the story with their various languages, we need to have a translator, and through that, even if they'll not get the understand the meaning of what you're saying in the native language, they'll grasp something, one or two, and through that they'll start learning different sorts of phrases about their culture, about their language, native languages. It also helps. Yeah.
It's actually a challenge.
Even the songs. Yeah.
It's actually a challenge because even right now, my mom had to narrate a Luo story in English.
Yeah.
Yes, because they could not
Understand
the Luo language. Yes.
It's a challenge, but at least because the song has the Luo language, I'm sure with time
Yes.
they will understand.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
will, or they might even get interested in learning.
Thank you very much. Okay, there's something that we cannot leave untouched here. In drama, we have comedy. And this comedy, when it is done on stage, the culture that it portrays will remain in the memory of the audience.
That's true.
And more so when you are targeting the young ones. And that is why we have just to prepare and have drama, have music, so that it is an easy way of instilling knowledge to the young ones. We even have cultural dances, not just a cultural dance, but with the theme, a theme of a particular community, speech community that is, and this will have to go a long way through several generations. They will carry that on and on. And we will have play, as you had mentioned before, we have narratives. A narrative which is drawn from a community. It has to portray the culture of that of a people. If it does not portray a culture, then it is like useless. So when we have narratives, we tell them to the young ones, they will remember. It is a very easy way of
Easy to
educating
remember,
them.
yeah.
Yes, they will remember. So let us continue with drama.
Yes.
Let us continue with music.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And to add on that, I really want to appreciate the Kenya Music Festival for trying to preserve our cultures and our native languages.
Yes.
That's why they've even given a chance to try folk songs.
Right.
Is it what do you call it? Is it Gonjera?
Yes,
It's
the
called Gonjera.
Gonjera, Shairi.
Yeah, in our native
In
languages.
our native languages.
Then
right.
we also have chants in our native. They have a class for native
chants.
chants
Yes.
in native languages.
Yeah.
So it's really a plus for them. They're really enhancing and trying to preserve our African culture. Even despite adding the classical music into it, they still try to preserve our culture, to preserve where we've come from.
Okay.
And to add on to that, the children that participate in music festival, drama festival, when they come back to class, they score better than those
Yeah.
who are behind
Exactly.
reading and reading, because
Yeah.
they have seen it live.
Yeah.
And it has to remain in their mind, and they are able to apply.
Oh,
A lot of
yeah.
things
Yeah.
now is application. So you apply what you have seen,
Exactly.
what you are conversant with.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned music festival, drama festival, I'm with you in that.
Ah.
Yes.
You know, you're both
That's right.
teachers. You know, she's a teacher.
Yeah, I'm also a teacher.
On a music festival. So,
okay.
but I also took part in music festival when I was a child. Not a child, when I was in high school. Yes, and I remember we used to. Sometimes we could change our attires to our traditional attires, and it was a very good time for us to unwind, for us to learn about our identity. Yes, so it was something that we really enjoyed.
Thank you very much again for the session ongoing. Let me shed light on intermarriages. Intermarriages is good, but it also has its loopholes. For example, when you look at culture, culture goes with naming, culture goes with food, culture goes with customs, and even rules of the society. Now, when you have people who have intermarried, maybe, let me say, Kikuyu and a Kisi. A Kisi will be a Gusii speaker, a Kikuyu will be a Gikuyu speaker. So, they are Bantus, yes, but there are somewhere they don't meet so much. The Gikuyus like meat. The Kisis like bananas.
Bananas.
So now look at that. If the lady is the Kisi one, she will be cooking her bananas. And the Gikuyu lady would want to do the githeri, where there is meat, there is maize, there is beans,
Waru.
and so on and so on. Waru.
Don't forget waru.
Yeah, I cannot forget that. So it is a mixture. And then a Gusii speaker would like, if it is githeri, it is just beans and maize. So that is where
Yes.
now the point of departure is. Leave alone food. Let's come to naming. How do you name? The Gikuyu have got their way, the Gusii people have got their way. All these speech communities have got their own ways of naming. So there will be a problem. People, couples start quarreling. You see, I have to name my mother first. I have to name my father first. But still there can be an agreement on how to do the naming. So we are not condemning intermarriages per se, but we say that it brings culture down, because the children get confused. They don't know which culture to follow. Let's come to language. Language is part and parcel of culture.
Yeah.
Which language are you really going to speak? Which language will they use in their house? Which language? Is it the mother tongue? Is it the first language? Is it indigenous language? Whose? The fathers or the mothers? There is already a problem. We don't condemn really intermarriages, but then the two have to agree on how to behave. Let the children be free to speak either the father's language as well as the mother's language. Give them equal opportunity, because they are young, they are innocent, and they don't mind knowing both languages. Yeah, there should be no really competition when it comes to language. So culture, intermarriages, and all that can be can exist harmoniously. They can coexist harmoniously when people sit down and agree on how to behave, especially with the children whom they produce. Otherwise, intermarriages and culture, even when it comes to the payment of dowry, there is a difference. Each community have got their own way of doing it, right? There is this one where the bride price is negotiated. There is another one whereby you are told to bring what you have. Well, if you don't have, you will bring even later. But though it is a must, bride price must be there. But there is a difference. So we cherish intermarriages and we encourage people to communicate and agree on how to do it. Otherwise, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Emma, do you want to take it or I go first?
I think you're right. It somehow brings confusion to the family somehow when it comes to the children training to learn Kikuyu, Kisii. They have English, they have Swahili. So I feel like it's kind of a lot to the child.
By the way, in schools now, indigenous languages is taught literally as a subject, and there is a problem. Which language does this child associate with? There is loss of identity automatically.
Exactly.
They tend to say that they can only use Kiswahili. So Kiswahili is not the indigenous language.
Yes, no.
And in fact there is Swahili language on its own, which is Swahili, and it is different from the Kiswahili taught in class a little bit. So that confusion, I agree with you, arises, and the child starts wondering, what is now my identity? Am I a Gikuyu, or am I a Luo, or am I a Kisii? But all in all, for inclusivity and existence in the diversity, we can embrace intermarriages only that we talk to the couple to sit down and see and agree and see how to bring up the children. If it is food, let them know that my mother likes this, my father likes this, because what you grow up with, obviously you will like it. Yes.
Okay, so I wanted, while you guys were talking, I remembered this book that I read. It's called Hope, Skip and Jump, written by Scholar B. Akinyi. It was written this year. So she was my, not classmate, schoolmate at Ulanda Girls, but right now she's a renowned writer in Kenya. So immediately she wrote that book. Of course, we had to grab a copy. So in that book, she's talking about post-election violence in Naivasha town. So she's Luo. She was staying in Naivasha. So she's not really telling her story, but the story has like 3 characters. So in the story, there's a girl called Vena, there's a boy called, I think, Eric, then there's a third boy. So that third boy has 2 parents, and he's speaking both languages clearly. So he can understand the mother clearly and understand the father clearly, but the two cannot
the two cannot understand one
each
another.
other. Yeah,
Right.
when the mother is talking to her people on the phone,
Yes.
the father hears nothing, but the boys understands everything. When the father is doing the same, the boy understands.
I think the children are well placed.
So something funny in this story is the boy was asking himself if he has a mother tongue, because now he has a father tongue and a mother tongue. But again, now this is like a positive thing about intermarriages. It's like when the story is almost ending, the father is accused of murder, and the brothers, he was a rich man, so the brothers are there and they're talking over the phone, and they're discussing how to take the wealth from their mother. So I think the boy is understanding everything. We did not, but the scholar did not finish that story. She needs to finish it because she left us hanging.
But I love the bit that the children can understand both parents. Yes. But you remember, again, I'll refer more to schools because I'm a teacher. The policy, the language policy, states that the first language is the one used for instruction from preschool to grade 3. Literally like that. So many a times the language of the catchment area is used, a language that majority understands. So there is this child that has come out of intermarriages. They have totally no language, no catchment language for them. So they tend to wander, and that is why I was saying there is that loss of identity. They don't feel nice. They feel misplaced, out of place. When everyone is grouping, like in school now, you group literally during indigenous languages per your language group or per your language speech community. So where do they go? They have none. So let the parents be parents, because when they met, they loved one another. Love brought them together, and the children should also get to know both languages, and they also should strive to understand one another's language,
Yeah.
each other's language.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
They should strive to know each other's language, so that when you talk to your people, you are not backbiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just discussing important issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I also think, referring to I think it's from the Luo culture. They always say that once, no matter the tribe you're married to, once you're married in the Luo land, the children belong to the Luo community.
Yes. Yes.
So they can use the Luo as their main language, main native language.
the native language.
Yes.
Okay.
But what happens to the Kikuyu? Because according to now Kikuyus, the children belong to the mother.
No, that is tradition.
In Luo, the children belong to the father.
To
Yeah.
the father.
In Kikuyu,
Yeah, you've seen them. You hear somebody calling themselves David Wajiko.
yeah.
Yeah, David Wairimu. It is that is the culture. Call yourself in Luo Jane Atieno being Otieno being the father, being the mother. Jane Atieno depicting the mother.
Yes.
Then people would be like,
What's your surname again?
Yeah.
What is your surname? Tell us your surname.
Yes. Really.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. So
Yes.
we want to take this moment to thank you for following this program with
Yes.
us up to now. So maybe as we just finish, we will discuss just two things. First of all, Emma has a concert that is coming in December
8th.
on 8th, so she'll talk about it a little bit, and then we finish by just mentioning a few performing arts that we think are performing arts forms that we think have been transmitted or transformed I'll take transformed throughout this change, maybe different decades as we go on with life. Yeah, so Emma will begin, and then now we finish with that.
Okay, so I'm the founder of Pema Music Training Institute. I teach musical instruments. I'm so passionate about music, and I'm also passionate about children. I really love children, and I love to see them grow. So I decided to organize a concert on the 8th of December. Reason being, I feel like kind of music has not been embraced so much in Migori compared to where I used to work, Nairobi.
Even
performing arts. So I just want to create an awareness that music is really important in the life of everyone, not just children. In my music school, I teach both adults and children, and also the special needs children, autism. I'm mentioning autism and all that. So if you would like to enroll, please reach out. I'll share my details, so you'll be able to interact more and know how to assist you in your musical journey. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So you've just mentioned that Migori, we don't really appreciate music as such. I think it's the performance bit. We actually sing, people do choirs, you know, but now the other music, you know, where we have like instruments and all that, or even benga music.
So I've been like, even wondering, at the other time I went to Vanna, Joffa, and I was trying to look for venues where I could hold the concert, and I was kind of when I came to Migori, I was like, okay, I can try have like live performances during the weekends to entertain people. So I didn't get that opportunity.
The platform, we don't
have
have
the
that.
platform.
We are arenas.
But I noticed Joffa Hotel. Joffa Hotel has an amphitheater where if you want to have drama, modeling, music, you can go perform there. It's really a nice place. So that's why I decided to settle on it. Yeah.
Okay, fine. I guess I'll go check it for drama, because I also love drama, and I really wanted to start having, you know, theatrical performances there. Come, we act a story, even if we're going to act our husband has gone mad again. There. Yes.
Thank you so much. I'll speak a little bit on the traditional instruments. I'm more conversant with the Luo traditional instruments. There is really actually a transformation. In fact, they are dying out. Right now, getting a young person who can play oroto, hii kamba moja,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. And even the nyatiti, nyatiti ni kamba 8. It
Yeah.
has got kamba 8. Inaitwa obokano. Eh? In Kisii, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Litungu somewhere else, I think Luya.
Yeah.
Yes. So the instruments are dying out right now. They don't know how to play them. But it was so interesting watching them. They were not just played plain. You play as you sing,
Yeah.
and the song has a message.
Yeah.
And people are enjoying. You know, when you enjoy something, you don't forget.
Yeah.
It sticks in the memory. Then we even have the horn. The horn was also there. Yes. Tung in the Luo.
Yeah.
Then we used to also have several drums. Drums with different drum beats.
Ohangla drum.
Yes, the Ohangla drums,
Isukuti.
Isukuti and all that. They are now dying, I'm telling
Yeah.
you. They are now dying. So we are not very safe with our culture. Yes, people could dance themselves out when Orutu is being played. Right now you have just to listen to pop music and you're not even understanding.
And
you
I
don't
think
even
I'm
know how
also-
to move your body.
I'm also affected with that because I remember when I was at the university,
Yes.
we had a unit
Yes.
which you had to perform a traditional instrument. So I think I was so irritated
Yes.
in that I was more into the classical music than the African music. So every time the traditional African instrument came, I really feel like I was really getting bored. And I was just I did the nyatiti, but I think I did it for the sake of the exam. But if I was ready to play the nyatiti, I think I'll have to go back to class and learn.
And learn.
So that's why I think also the Western music or the classical music has they fused the African
Yes.
culture.
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
interfered a
It
little.
has interfered.
You know, I wanted to mention that there's this time you talked about Zahara and how she was playing her guitar, and you said she doesn't even know the
Yeah,
chord
she
she's playing.
didn't know.
Do you know the guys who are also in the village, the guys who really know how to play the nyatiti? Do you know they don't know if it's a G chord or
Yeah,
a A
they
major
don't.
or whatever?
Classification becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So that means they have it here
In the mind.
in the mind, and they're
Yeah,
so
it has
creative.
come naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that is going
And
away.
imagine another thing, leave alone playing them. Even people who can make them now
Yeah.
are not easy to come by.
It's not
So there is we can say there is a big problem,
There is.
yeah, in the society. And now that we have discussed here, let it not end here. Let us go to the society and enlighten them that those traditional instruments
Yeah.
are also just equally good and
Yeah.
important for them. Yes.
Yes, and again, maybe to our leaders, they should also bring in more of those performances, because we only have like a cultural week once, and it's not even all. It is not well advertised.
Yeah.
So we need even monthly cultural
Yeah. Where
days.
everyone is
In
involved.
fact,
Yes.
I want to invite you to Migori Teachers College Cultural Days. We have 2 days. That is 6th and 7th Cultural Day. Come to participate. I would be happy. Bring something and then you perform, so that the students can also see that you are able to perform at your age and you went to the university.
Yeah.
It is something you learned.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine.
We will come.
We'll come.
I want to assure you.
Yeah, we'll
Welcome.
come.
Yes.
That's in November.
Yes, 6th
or
and 7th. Right.
We'll be there.
You'll be my guests there.
We'll be there.
Okay, so she talked about the instruments as something that is maybe going extinct, but for me also I want to talk about oral narratives. For example, there's this story about Luanda Magere that has been said, Simbi Nyaima, you know. So a little bit, a while back we used to interact with them, but you know, my daughter has not interacted with Luanda Magere.
You will have to make an effort.
I will have to.
Yes, buy books.
Mm.
Yeah, there are books where we have children's literature. Yes,
Okay.
we written by professionals. So you can buy them. They read the stories themselves.
Yes, and
And they
even
will
perform.
embrace and get
Yeah.
interested and all that.
Yeah, even
So
through
it's
songs.
encouraging.
Even through
Yes.
songs. Yes, so I think we can also like there was a play in Nairobi in July early this year, and they talked about, it was a play about Lorna Magere, by the way. So but it was acted by adults. So maybe we can tell them the stories, and then maybe they can also perform them in their own way.
Yes.
Yeah. So Emma, you can conclude. You concluded.
Yeah, I've concluded. Being that you're having a podcast about an African culture, we will strive to perform more. Even on that concert day, we will try look for cultural music and maybe a dance, so that it can spice up the classical performances that we'll have from the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Very well. So any parting shot?
Thank you very much. One parting shot that I can give is that let's embrace our culture.
Yes.
Our culture had a lot in it, and the children were brought up in a very good way through stories. The stories that they were told had moral lessons, and even the instruments I've just talked about, they learned something as they were making them, and that was promoting psychomotor, the manipulation of the hands and all that, and even the brain. You bring in the mental bit of it, the attitudinal bit as well, and then you gain knowledge. So theater arts, performing arts is not a waste of time.
Yeah,
It is not.
Yeah, it's not a waste of time.
It's not.
Mm.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your presence here today.
Yes.
So thank you very much also, Emma, for your contribution.
Mm.
So we have come to the end of today's episode, and we want to welcome you to give us comments, to our comments. Yeah.
Yeah.
So give us your comments, your suggestions. We are ready to look at them and pick one or two from them. So until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.